Hi everyone, so today, as you can see from the title, I'm going to do a video about losing my mother, and I don't want this video to be sad. I want this to kind of give you a little backstory on Phoenix right here playing, a little backstory on how my mother passed and our relationship, and kind of like the things I do to kind of get through the days when I'm missing her, or to kind of keep her alive in my life and now with Phoenix. So a little backstory, and I have my phone right here, kind of looking at some notes, some bullet points that I want to touch on. So a little backstory, it's me, my sister, I'm the baby, then it's my twin sisters and a brother. So there's 4 of us, and my mom had died of kidney failure. Long story short, she was sick with, she was on dialysis for most of our lives, and she was always in and out of the hospital. At a certain age, my sisters both moved away. They were in Florida, and it was just me and her, and it was very hard because I was a teen. I was trying to grow up and you know, do my own thing, and you don't really understand and know what's going on or realize it until it's too late and she's no longer here. But I did my best, and I was there for her, and you know, she was in and out of the hospital, and I would always go see her and take her what she needed and all that stuff. But of course, there was a lot that I had trouble with. You know, I was in school full-time, I worked full-time, and this is what I did to help her. You know, me working would help her because she wouldn't have to buy my things. So that's kind of the backstory of it. And then she, you know, she was mobile, her mind was there, you know, she was, you wouldn't know she was sick unless her physical appearance, you know, she didn't, she looked older than she was and stuff, but you know, she can have a conversation with you and everything. So now down to the last year, which was in 2007, she developed gangrene in her toes, and they needed to cut all her toes off of 1 foot. Now, I knew in my mind that this would be the downhill. She always, in all her sicknesses, she always said, as long as I have my feet and I can walk, and you know, I can do for myself, I'm fine. So I knew that when this was happening, that this would kind of be the end of it, because I know how strongly she felt about it. But it was just 1 foot. She still walked. She still got around without her toes, and you know, she was doing pretty good. But we always told her if they had to, you know, amputate the other toes, she needed to go live with my sister. So that's what ended up happening. They amputated her other toes, and my sister lived in Florida, and she was a stay-at-home wife. So we just thought it was best that she go live with my sister, that my sister can be with her all day, give her the attention she needed, take her to the doctors. And the weather in Florida would be so much nicer because we're in New Jersey, and it would just be better for her overall. So she agreed. She really wanted me to go with her, but you know, I had my life here, and I was going to school and doing all that here, and I wasn't really ready to leave yet. So I told her when I graduated I would go. So 4 months later, she developed, like, her lungs and were really bad, and they were going to have to do a surgery. Now, the surgery could have either left her on the surgery table, like she wouldn't have made it out of the surgery, or her recovery would have been so long she would have had to be in the hospital for months. My mom hated the hospital. I mean, it was literally her second home, and she absolutely hated the hospital. People knew her by name. She knew every nurse, so she did not like the hospital. So at this point, the decision was made that she was just going to go home, get off her dialysis treatment, and just, you know, and just, that's it. It was her time. She could have continued on the treatment, but the pain would have been so bad that it would have just been in and out of the hospitals for the rest of her life. You know, it would have just been really bad, and eventually it would have, you know, ended worse. So this is what she decided. And my mom's big thing was she didn't want to go until she knew that I was ready to be on my own. And at this point, I was on my own in New Jersey for 4 months now. So I think she realized that she can go. She had her peace of mind, which was bittersweet for me, because it's like, you know, I was glad that I was on my own and I can give her that peace of mind, but I felt like, darn it, why did I have to be, you know, independent and on my own? And you know, I was selfish. I wanted to keep her here. So at this point, I remember like yesterday, my aunt came over to kind of tell me what was going on, and we all made plans to go to Florida. They stopped all her treatment. She was in hospice, and they said it could be, you know, a week or 2 or 3, like, you know, they couldn't really tell you an exact time. Obviously, it wouldn't be more than a couple weeks because she needed her treatment. You know, she was comfortable, and she was in her, they gave her her medicine, and she was comfortable with everything, and they made her comfortable. The hospice nurse came, and she was okay. You know, it's not like she was going through any pain or anything. So we all went to Florida. My mom, my aunt, my grandma, you know, we all went to Florida, and we spent our last weeks there, her last week there. And she was like in good spirits, and we don't really know if she really grasped the fact that what was happening, or if she was accepting it, or just, you know, going with the flow. But, you know, she had a beer, like, you know, she was just doing things and just enjoying it. And the day before I left, like, I had to leave before she actually passed, which was very hard for me. But I was starting a new college that Tuesday. I was starting a new college, and my mom was for me to go to school. That was very important to her, and she didn't want me to miss it. So as horrible as that sounds, I came back on that Monday, and she passed away on that Wednesday. The day I left, she was like really sleeping, and the last thing she said to me was, "Don't forget that I love you." She was like half asleep when she said it. That was on Monday. Tuesday, she was practically sleeping the whole day, and then Wednesday morning, she had passed already. So it was kind of good that I wasn't there, because I don't know how to explain it, but anybody who's lost a parent or lost anybody important to them could kind of probably grasp the fact of what I mean. So they had her cremated, and I now have her ashes with me, which was one of her wishes. And my sisters have a smaller version of some of her ashes as well. So the reason for this video, on Monday the 18th, Phoenix will turn 6 months, and it is also her birthday. So for me, 6 months is a big deal. It's half a year. It's very exciting. I celebrate his month birthdays every month, but this one's like double, because it's also my mom's birthday, and now she's passed away. It's gonna be 5 years in September, but when she was alive, every year I would bake her a cake for her birthday. So now the first year that she passed, it was when her birthday came around. She passed in September, her birthday's in February. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I was very sad, and I decided to try to just keep the tradition. And I still baked her a cake. A few of my friends came over. They brought flowers for her, and we cut the cake, and, you know, we just talked about her, and we just kept her alive by talking about her memories, and, you know, just keeping that tradition. And the reason I'm doing this video and sharing this is because if anybody's out there having a hard time, I just want you guys to know what I do to help me, because it's tough. So, you know, I bake her a cake every year for her birthday, and I always wear a grumpy shirt like I'm wearing now, because she loved, it's ironic because she loved Grumpy, like that was her favorite character. But if you see me wearing it on her birthday, it's kind of like, oh, like she's grumpy, but, you know, it has like that double meaning. So it's just, I do things to keep her alive, to keep myself from being so down and out, because I know that she wouldn't want that. And she's told me plenty of times, you know, my mom was sick for many years, and there was many scares that we thought that was it. And, you know, but when I got that call that would be the last week, it was crazy, because it's like, oh my God, this really is it. And there were so many other times it's like, she's in the hospital, and, you know, it's not looking good, and but now it really was it. But I have to say, I know that she's not in any more pain, and she was in a lot of pain. My mom was very young when she passed. She was 43. So she went through a lot in a short period of time, and I know in my heart that she is so much better. I know people say that, and you always feel kind of like, oh, I don't want to hear that. But when people told me that, I knew in my heart that it was true, that she wasn't in pain anymore. She went through so much pain, and a lot of it I saw as a young girl. So I'm okay with the fact that she's in a better place, and she's looking over me, and now she's looking over Phoenix, and I know that she's providing for me things that she couldn't provide for me while she was alive. So back to her tradition. So every year on her birthday, I do a cake for her, and this year it happened to be Phoenix's 6th month, the same date, so that's just extra special, and that's why I wanted to do this video in honor of her birthday and Phoenix turning 6 months on the same day, and just kind of share with you guys the little traditions that I do to keep myself from being extra sad on those days. Because for some reason you're sad all year around, but when certain dates come around, it makes it a little bit harder. And by that I mean like their death anniversary, or their birthdays, or just or Mother's Day and Father's Day, whatever it is. It's just those days are just harder. And it's weird because every day is hard, but those days are extra hard. So I try to do something on those days to not make it so hard. For example, on Mother's Day, that first Mother's Day was very hard. It's like, well, I don't have a mother, why should I celebrate Mother's Day, and that was my first initial thought. And then I decided that I wasn't going to think like that, that I was going to make a new tradition and have Mother's Day celebration at my house. And my aunt came over and my grandma came over. May she rest in peace. She passed away 2 years after my mother. But the first year she was there, and we made that a tradition. Until this day, that is the tradition. Every year since, Mother's Day has been at my house. And now I met my husband a year after my mom passed. So now his mom and his sister come to the Mother's Day tradition. And then this year it'll be extra special because it started because of to keep myself sane and happy on this day. But now this year I'm gonna be a mother, and I'm gonna be with Phoenix. And sorry, it makes me emotional, but it's just, I started it because of my mom. So it's amazing because I feel like a part of her is here with us. And then this Mother's Day, I'll actually be a mother. So I'm glad that I didn't ruin that holiday for myself, that I didn't decide to be all in the slumps and be so depressed and so down about it that I wouldn't celebrate it, and then now I would be bitter about it. So I'm glad that I did that. Another thing that helped me, oh my God, so much when my mom passed was The Secret. I had read it a year before she passed, and I liked it, don't get me wrong, but when I think, and I truly believe that when you read something, it depends what your life is like on how you take that. For example, when I read The Secret, I was at a different point in my life, so I took it in, and I loved the book, but it didn't give the same meaning. Now that year I started a different college, and for that teacher, she made us read it again, and it was like reading a whole new book, and it definitely had a big impact and helped me on how I dealt with the death of my mother. And I did the collage, and if you haven't seen or read The Secret, you definitely should. I'm gonna do a review soon on it, but I think you should definitely check it out. It's a very good inspirational book, and it just gives you a positive way of thinking, and it definitely helped me so much with the death of my mother. And I made a vision board. That's what it's called, and if you know The Secret, you know what I'm talking about. A vision board of all the things that I wanted, and I had my graduation in there, I had marriage and children and the car I wanted to drive and the house I want. I have all of that in my vision board, and a lot of it has come true. shortly after, you know, I was engaged, I got married, and now I have a baby. So staying positive was definitely a plus in that situation. So I don't want this to be a downer at all on my channel, but being that my mom's birthday is coming up and I am now a mother, I just wanted to share a part of me that made me a stronger person, and it made me, I think it made me a better mother. Yes, I would give anything in the world for my mom to be here right now, helping me with Phoenix, and I would love to. So many times I wish I could pick up the phone and call her, but I know that she's with me, and staying positive was definitely something that helped me so much in losing her. And being a mom now, I better understand her, and I know why she held on so long and went through so much pain and hurt, because your children are your everything. So I just kind of wanted to get this out there for anybody who, you know, might be going through a similar situation, who kind of already went through it and is kind of just doesn't know how to deal with it. But my tips would be to keep your mother or father or anybody, keep them alive and do things that you did when they were alive. And on those hard days, make it extra special. You know, like for her birthday, I still do the cake. This year for Phoenix's 6th month, it'll be a double cake with so much more meaning. And 3 years ago, when I did her first birthday cake when she wasn't here, I never thought that I would be doing one day and celebrating my son as well on that same day. So keep hope alive, stay positive, and keep their traditions. I'm so happy that I started the Mother's Day tradition, because now I get to continue it, and I continue it as a mother, and I continue it with Phoenix. But I can tell him one day, you know, why I started doing it at my house and doing all this. I can tell him that, and that's how I can keep my mother alive. So again, any questions or comments, just leave them below. Thank you for listening to my story, and I will insert some pictures of me and my mom here, and you know, a couple pictures of her last week of life. I hope that this helps somebody, or will help somebody one day to stay positive as much as you possibly can. And I know it's hard, and every day it's hard, and now that I'm a mother, it's a little harder, but it still gives me another reason to be stronger about it, because now I'm my mother, and I know, and I understand a little. She definitely is the strongest person I know. Like, the things that she went through, and I could never imagine. So let me stop before I get all emotional. But so this is kind of just like a little tribute to my mom, and I'm going to be celebrating her birthday in a few days with Phoenix, and you guys will see. You can check some of those footages out on my week of life video of Phoenix. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and talk to you guys later. Bye.